Hey everyone, I'm Ariel, and today I'm going to be talking about the movie Jurassic World Rebirth. I don't even know if I should have said it that exciting because honestly, this movie definitely disappointed me. So I was excited about this film. I knew it was coming out in the summer, and I was like, this will be a lot of fun. And once I watched it, I was so disappointed. I was like, what the heck am I even watching? Anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and get into some of my thoughts for the film. This is going to be a bit of a rant. I think this is the first video so far that I filmed because I've done Thunderbolts and K-pop. I love those movies, and now this is about a movie that I did not enjoy. So we'll see how this video goes. So starting off in the opening sequence, we kind of get like the laboratory thing, and this is kind of when we first see a first glimpse of the D-Rex. I'm not a fan of the hybrids, in my opinion. To me, I really thought that they were gonna just kind of really bring back the original feel. Like, I was definitely excited to hear when they said that they were gonna go, like, this movie was gonna be centered of being on an island, and I was definitely excited about that because, like, I prefer when they're on the island. Which I will say that, I mean, I was kind of surprised, like, the Jurassic World franchise had built up to where they were trying to get the dinosaurs, like, almost officially off the island and, like, scattered around the world. That's what we kind of see in Dominion, to where in Dominion, obviously it's about coexisting with dinosaurs, where they're living in the world. I am kind of surprised that this movie decided to almost take a step back and try to reverse everything that Jurassic World kind of set up, even if it's not really my favorite anyways. Like, I do prefer them being on the island because I feel if you're gonna have like this animal type movie, I think it's better when you're actually like where people go into these animals' habitats, and like the animals, this is their habitats, they're used to where they live, and you've kind of entered their domain or their home, and they're just like, they're on the attack, right? They're like, you're invading our home, and then people are trying to survive, right? I prefer the island. I like it when the island can almost, like, if it kind of feel, it can feel like eerie, or it can feel like, I don't know, it's like you're just trying to get off, like you're trying to survive and get off this island, you know? I've always preferred the island stuff. But I understand what Dominion was doing, or, you know, what Jurassic World, even going into Dominion, was trying to do. I know before Jurassic World Dominion came out, they did do that short film. It was where, like, there were some families at a campsite, or at least, I know there was at least one family at a campsite, and then, like, the Triceratops, or you know what, there might have even been the T-Rex. Literally can't remember all of it, but I remember really liking it, and I was like, oh, if this is the feel and the vibe that Dominion's going to be, that'll be actually interesting, because I was like, okay, this could be interesting of where now dinosaurs have invaded our habitat, right? But then, like, you know, they're trying to fight to survive, but then we're just like, you know, I mean, I like it a little bit. And, you know, I like in The Lost World where there is the San Diego incident, but I'm like, I still did prefer the island scenes. But, you know, I mean, like I said, it could have been interesting. I'm not saying that, like, if they would have built more upon kind of like what they did in the short film before Jurassic World Dominion, I think it could have been a really interesting film. I guess I just don't really like where Dominion went, but I am just surprised. With all that to say, I feel like, I don't know, with the roundabout way of what I'm saying, I do feel like I'm just surprised that they decided to just kind of like cut it off to where it's almost like, oh yeah, we take back what we said. Like, these dinosaurs can't live above the equator, and now they're all stuck on this one island. I'm just like, I don't know. I mean, like, part of this movie's plot is that they have to get DNA from 3 of the largest dinosaurs in order for it to be used towards, like, heart, like a heart treatment. I was like, I don't think that meant that we necessarily had to take all the dinosaurs off where they've been scattered around the world. I don't really even know if they needed to take that away. I felt like they could have easily said, hey, this island has experimented and like created some of the largest dinosaurs ever made that are on this island, and these are the specific dinosaurs we need for this DNA. Like, they could have still easily, but you know, with this being an island and not the mainland where dinosaurs and people have learned to coexist, these animals are more wild. You know, like they could have done it like that, where they don't necessarily take away the fact of if someone else wants to kind of go in and still make a movie where the dinosaurs were living among us, if they ever wanted to kind of go back, which I mean they still could. It'll just be like, now it'll almost be like they have to say they're going back in time, or like, you know, maybe it was years now before this movie. Anyways, I'm just surprised. I think that they could have tweaked it a little bit, just in case. Like I said, you never know. I'm sure they're going to make another dinosaur film even after this one. I think there's actually been talks of another Jurassic World film. I'm just surprised they just went ahead and tweaked that a little bit, where they don't necessarily like take away from ever like wanting to do something closer to what Dominion was trying to do. Yeah. Anyway, that was my thought on that. With that being said, going back to what I was saying before, I don't really like the hybrids, in my opinion. I really wanted to just see, I thought we were really going to get the classic dinosaur film. I thought, like I said, I thought this was really going to try to go back to kind of how Jurassic Park originally started. I thought we were just going to get the OGs. I mean, to me, like, obviously the dinosaurs are the stars of these films. Like, one of the reasons why I go to watch these films, and I'm sure many of you do, is to see the dinosaurs. And Jurassic Park was one of the earliest films as a kid that I fell in love with. And I mean, I wanted to be a paleontologist. And just something that, like, even today, it's like a timeless, it's like a classic film. And it's like iconic. And has iconic scenes. I really thought we were going to get the dinosaurs that we fell in love with. Like, the T-Rex has always been one of my favorites. Or the Velociraptors. You know, in Jurassic World, they decided to give us, like, Blue, which, while I think Blue is cute, Blue is domesticated. And I want the really vicious, scary Velociraptors that we got in the Jurassic Park films. Like, I really want to see those Velociraptors again, which in this film they gave us a little bit of a glimpse of a couple of Velociraptors at one point, but then they just didn't do nothing with it. And then I know that they try to do like a spin-off on a Velociraptor at the end in the in like the little convenience store scene, but it had like wings or whatever, which, I mean, that dinosaur or whatever I didn't really mind, but I'm just like, why couldn't we have gotten the originals? Like, why didn't we get an original? If you're really gonna pay tribute to like a scene, right, of the original Jurassic Park movie, why didn't we get Velociraptors? I would have been so excited to see them. I don't know why there wasn't any scene with them, and I'm not counting that darn one little scene of when the boy was in the woods and the Velociraptors come up behind them, because then they were just taken away very soon. Like, I really wanted to see a terrifying Velociraptor scene. But yeah, I mean, I just don't understand why they won't go back to really bringing back the original dinosaurs. I started thinking, like, it's almost like if you're a Marvel fan, you know, when the Avengers was first coming out, you know, people, as each of them came out, people were excited to go see the movies because of, they were excited to see Iron Man again, or Captain America, or maybe the Hulk, or even Thor. People were excited to see those characters. That's what drove them to see the movies, which I'm sure they were also excited about the movie as well. But, like, to me, with Jurassic World, Jurassic Park movies, it's like, you're excited to go see these movies because of the dinosaurs. And I just really wish that instead of giving us these crazy hybrids, which I'm like, whatever, if they want to have a hybrid here and there, whatever, I guess. But I'm like, why can't we get back to kind of the original thing? Even if you want to add in some new dinosaurs, that's fine. Like, you know, I know there's probably a lot of dinosaurs they can like choose from. I just really wish they would go back to having just dinosaurs, some of the ones that we grew up with, really trying to I don't know, like I said, just really trying to give us a classic dinosaur film, in my opinion. Not these, like I said, Jurassic World has given us a little bit too much of the hybrid type things. Which, I mean, I guess, like, after watching this and seeing the D-Rex, I was like, I guess the Indominus Rex and Indoraptor wasn't as bad. At least they tried to still make it look like a dinosaur, I guess. But that's my opinion. I just wish we got some of the original dinosaurs. With that being said, my gosh, am I ever going to finish this opening scene thought? I do think the opening scene was actually interesting. I mean, it was probably one of the more suspenseful parts of the film. I definitely felt bad for the guy, getting killed off. I don't know, at first I thought it went on a little too long at first when the D-Rex kind of spun him around before actually eating him. I was like, I don't know if we really needed that. I thought it was just going to be the fact that this guy was going to be looking like through the glass, crying, being like, help me, and then I thought that all of a sudden he would just be snatched away and eaten. I didn't think we were really going to get a little bit more of a full-on almost glance of the D-Rex in the scene. I thought it was still going to kind of keep it like not reveal it right away, kind of like, in Jurassic Park, the opening scene with the Velociraptor. We really only hear the noise and see the Velociraptor's eyes when he's eating the guy. I kind of thought that this would also kind of do the same thing, like not necessarily really reveal the D-Rex. I mean, it didn't reveal the whole body, but I feel like it was still revealed a little too much. I think they could have, like I said, I don't know. I do think the scene with the guy lasted a tad long. I think it could have been shortened just a little bit, but I still thought it was an interesting scene, even though I was like, don't really care for the D-Rex. I thought the scene was okay to open up the film. Yeah, and then we just kind of get into the next part of where obviously they were explaining kind of the equator stuff. The dinosaurs can't survive above the equator. So Krebs hires Zora, and they go to this museum where this guy named Dr. Henry, they're trying to get him to be kind of like the dinosaur guide, since he knows dinosaurs. And it's even stated at one point he says that he worked under Alan Grant, which honestly I was like, I guess they're trying to give this character some credibility, but I was like, I'm not buying it. Anyway, sorry, I just really didn't like this film. I mean, the main character I did like Duncan, and the family wasn't too bad, I guess. I don't know, I guess I just didn't really connect with most of the characters or really care for many of them. I don't know, and I think most of it was probably just because the plot and the movie itself just stunk, so I just didn't care for the characters, I guess, too much. Anyways, so basically Dr. Henry, somehow, I guess they've lost funding or whatever it is for the museum. I think they even mention at some point people just don't care about dinosaurs anymore or something. I don't know why I feel like in Jurassic World they say that so much in some of the Jurassic World films. Like even the first Jurassic World, it was like, oh, people are bored of dinosaurs and that's why they're trying to make something newer and fresh, and that's why they're doing the Indominus Rex. And I'm just like, who gets tired of dinosaurs? I was like, I mean, how many movies have we continually went to go see between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World because we're excited about dinosaurs? Yet now the movies are trying to tell us, oh, we're bored. Like, what? Anyways, whatever. So Krebs tries to convince him that he's like, have you ever seen a dinosaur? He's like, sure, you've seen these dinosaurs in zoos, but have you ever seen one in its natural habitat, basically? And then Dr. Henry, he's like, let me think for a minute, and he takes a thing of Altoids and chews, and we just hear him munching on Altoids, and I was like, what is this? It was ridiculous. And then he says yes or whatever, and then they go, and then Zora, she goes to Duncan in order for them to have a boat to get to the island, and whatever. So anyways, we get on the boat. They finally are going towards the island. Yeah, like I said, I feel like the beginning didn't interest me as much. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just the attitude they had towards dinosaurs that was already sort of taking me out of it. I was just surprised that they automatically just was having it to where these dinosaurs are dying and they can't live above the equator, I was just like, what was the point of all the build-up of the Jurassic World films? Even though I'm excited that they were going to go back to the island, I also feel like just some of the characters, like even the fact of Krebs trying to convince him of like, oh, haven't you ever actually seen one in the wild? I'm just like, I think that's just so weird, because in Jurassic World Dominion, people were seeing these animals out in the forest and in their backyards or whatever. Like there was even a scene in Jurassic World Dominion, I think it's towards the beginning, when the brachiosauruses are like crossing over, I don't know if it was the railroad tracks or not, and like the workers are looking up at them. So I'm like, people have seen these animals out and not just in zoos. So I don't know, I just didn't really understand, I didn't understand some of the dialogue or what they were trying to get at, but whatever. They were just trying to make an excuse for this guy to want to go to the island. But I was like, really? I mean, I don't know, if the guy's into dinosaurs, and then, I mean, if he's really trying to save his museum, I mean, couldn't they have really, I was like, they could have almost made it more of like an Alan Grant situation, like in Jurassic World, or in Jurassic Park, and even in Jurassic Park 3, one of the reasons why Alan Grant is so eager or willing to go to the islands is because of the paycheck. Even though in Jurassic Park 3 the people lied to him, but that was one thing that was always made him willing to go to the island, was for the paycheck, which in Jurassic Park, it wasn't like he necessarily knew the danger of the island, but in Jurassic Park 3, he obviously knew the dangers of dinosaurs. He was always willing to go in order to try to keep funding his digs, because that was his passion. So I'm like, if Dr. Henry's, I'm just going to say Henry, if Henry's passion is to run this museum, to continue to share like the history, and just to share the history and stuff of dinosaurs, then seeing a paycheck should have been made him willing to want to go. I don't know if they needed to add in that extended thing of really just like trying to convince him. I just felt like it was just too much, and especially him chewing the Altoids, which was just ridiculous. So doing it to the water, I will say that I actually thought the water scenes were actually pretty cool. I thought it looked pretty interesting. I actually liked, I mean, a pretty good bit of this movie is spent in the water, I feel like. Or they have a pretty decent amount of water scenes, which I actually thought was interesting and kind of something fresh, I will say. I liked the scene with the family and the Mosasaurus. I was like, I kind of liked how it was kind of having the similarity to Jaws there for a minute. But this is where I feel like the movie, like, to me, the biggest thing with this movie, like with Jurassic Park and Jurassic World movies, like, you want the suspense or the thrill, right? Almost like I said, borderline horror film, like borderline. Like you want to be on the edge of your seat. You want to see like these intense moments happen, and we do need character deaths along the way as well, to just, like I said, to add to that intensity and the suspense. And then even like the fact of like it's like this survival mode, right? Like the people are trying to survive this island and get off of it. And I feel like this movie had so much potential, but then it just falls every time. Every time it would just fall off. Like the scene with the family on their boat, and then it gets like the Mosasaurus's attack. I thought that scene was actually really cool, and it looked good, and I liked how they tried to do a similarity with Jaws. The thing is like in that moment of like where the Mosasaurus was coming after the boy who was trying to swim to the boat, I was like, this is a really intense moment. But I was like, but then the Mosasaurus just, as soon as the boy gets to the boat, the Mosasaurus just dives under, and then there's nothing else. And I was just like, it was just disappointing. I was just like, it was like you would have these intense little moments, and I'm about to share more, and then it would just fall off. And in my opinion, I was just like, maybe they just didn't cast enough people. Like maybe they should have had more people casted on both sides, maybe. Like for the family, like maybe the girl should have had it to where she had maybe invited several of her friends on this trip. Maybe her dad wanted to make it more of a family trip. Maybe she was trying to invite more of her friends and her boyfriend. so that we would have been able to have room for characters to have died. Because in my opinion, the Mosasaurus definitely should have ate someone, grabbed the person, and dip under, like really, like truly, like a Jaws moment, right? I don't know. Which I know that was just one of the first scenes. Then the family ends up getting onto the main boat with the other characters, and then the Mosasaurus attack along with Spinosauruses. And like I said, cool scene. I like the scene. I didn't mind this scene. The problem that came along with this scene is, so as the attack starts happening, Duncan realizes that he needs to get to shallow water for the Mosasauruses, because the Mosasauruses are probably going to tip over their boat, right? Just like they did with the family smaller boat. So he's like, we need to get to shallow water so that the Mosasauruses can't go that far. Which I was like, that's smart. As he does that, because there's also Spinos there too, then something happens with the boat or whatever, and he tells everyone they need to jump off the boat. And the problem is that there's still the Spinosauruses in the water. And I was like, you cannot, even when they get to the shallow water, I was like, you can't convince me that these people jumped out of the boat and they were able to outswim the Spinosauruses who were literally attacking them, who are hunters themselves. You cannot convince me that they wouldn't all be dead at this point. This was the problem that bothered me sometimes with the plot. It just didn't make sense at times. If anything, like I said, why couldn't they have just all stayed on the boat and then crashed onto the shore, and then it just be the fact that the boat, the ship or boat, whatever that they're on, it's just not going to be usable and they're going to have to find another way off the island. I mean, why not just do that? And then I did like the scene when they finally did get onto the shore, the Spinosaurus that was laying on the shore, because at first I didn't even see it. I was like, that was a pretty interesting, like, I liked the detail. I was like, okay, that's cool, because I was like, oh, I didn't even see that, and then you see it crawl into the water and then snatch the girl away, and I was like, okay, that was actually a pretty good scene. I just, like I said, I was just still so bothered by the fact of how in the world did everyone else survive the water and coming out of the ocean when there were Spinosauruses all in the waters, and you even see them swimming in the background as they're coming onto the shore. I was just like, you can't convince me that these Spinosauruses just wouldn't have killed all of them. I just, like I said, I just feel like there needed to be tweaks to what they were doing and what they were filming, because like I said, it just started not to make sense. Anyways, so the main group of people, obviously they head into the island. They already had gotten their sample from the Mosasaurus. That was one of the samples of DNA that they needed, or blood. So they already got that. So they're heading into the inland so that they can get the DNA from the other dinosaurs that they need. So there's a scene where the main group is kind of going through this little river part, which I was like, why are they going through the water? I'm not understanding. I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't have kept walking until they could find a way over some other way. I don't know. I mean, maybe they weren't going to be able to. Anyways, I thought once again, this was a scene that I was like, oh, this could be an interesting scene, you know, because you see this like little snake creature like dive into the water. At one point, Zora, she even says that she felt like something touched her leg, and then I was like, okay, you think they're going to try to hurry to get out of the water, and then Krebs literally stands in the water for like several minutes having a conversation with Henry, and like there's no rush about him getting out of the water. He doesn't even try to hurry to get out of the water. It's not even like he's afraid. I'm like, Zora just said something touched her leg. I was like, we just saw this like snake thing go into the water, and I was like, there's just nothing. This is where I'm just saying, this is where the movie would just fall off to me. Is like you would have like almost like a scene set up to be like this really good, had a lot of potential to be intense and really great, and then just nothing happens, and I'm just like, anyways, in my opinion, when they were crossing into the water, especially seeing that snake, I mean, like I said, this looked like a great scene. And also, you know, another thing I liked about this movie is they did shoot on location. I like that it actually felt like they were kind of like in a jungle, like island feel, you know? I just hate that like you would have these scenes and then it just nothing happens. I mean, it was just disappointing. And then we have the family, like I said, once again, you know, they're in the water. They don't seem like to be in such a big hurry to get out. They just saw the Spinosauruses. Once again, don't know how they're just surviving in the water, just swimming around. It just didn't feel like they were in a big hurry. And then as they get out of the water, they're like in this like, it kind of is like almost like a cave thing or whatever. And you see them like look out towards something. And I was like, for a minute, I was like, oh, this is going to kind of, like, you know, in Jurassic Park, when Alan and Lex and Tim are in the tree at night, and then they look out, and like it's all the little Brachiosauruses heads above the treetops, and then it's just like a really beautiful scene. I just kind of expected something here of like kind of trying to add a little bit of the awe factor of like, oh wow, this is amazing, a little bit of the wonder back in, right? And I expected them to look out and see like maybe like the Brachiosaurus heads or something. They look out and it's just like trees and the sun, and I'm just like, okay, that was lame. Anyways, so just kind of talking about some other scenes. I know that we do get a scene of the main group finding I forgot what exactly, honestly forgot the exact name of the dinosaurs. I know they're not Brachiosauruses, but it was a type of long neck type of dinosaur that they come across. I don't know why the tail was so long. I remember keeping up with kind of like some of the stuff that was being shared on YouTube, and they were still like changing the CGI, like, you know, like what, 2 months even before the movie was coming out. And because I remember the tail at first in one of the trailers was a lot shorter, and I think they even changed like the color grading a little bit as well. I don't know what was going on. They were still making changes to it. I have no idea why the tail needed to be so long. I was like, I feel like that was just a little too long, but whatever. I mean, unless that's like really accurate to what they found that dinosaur to be. I was like, is this one of the real dinosaurs? Like, now I'm even also questioning, are they trying to go historically accurate here, or was this also a dinosaur that's sort of a hybrid? Because I haven't had a chance to look that up, but I need to look that up and see. So they try to make this moment kind of, like I said, they try to let this moment be like something of like giving us a little bit of like wonder or whatever. I just wasn't feeling it. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know what it is about this film. It just, like I said, it just started going downhill as it kept going. And, you know, yeah. Anyways. So we do get a scene with the family now. The scene with the, like, raft boat with the T-Rex. Now, this was actually an exciting scene for me. I was excited to see the T-Rex. T-Rex is one of my favorite dinosaurs. I'm always excited to see the T-Rex in one of the film, or any film. This was actually one of the a scene from the book where Alan and Tim and Lex actually were in the raft boat with the T-Rex. So, or not with the T-Rex, but the T-Rex was chasing them in the raft boat in the original book, which I have not read the original book. I feel like I should. That would be fun. I had no idea it was even based on a book until like maybe a couple years ago. So this was a pretty cool scene. I will say I don't understand why they made the T-Rex and even some of the dinosaurs so large. Like, I don't really know why they scaled them up so much and made them so gigantic. I don't really understand what they saw as a problem with the sizing of the T-Rex. Like, if you go back to even like Jurassic Park and stuff, like, I don't know why they decided to be like, we gotta make these dinosaurs gigantic. I feel like the scaling was just a little weird. Like, it just felt a little too much. Like, I guess they figured if they go bigger, everyone would be like, wow, but yeah, I wasn't really wowed. I will say that I thought it was funny how the T-Rex was sleeping, and then I thought it was a great moment when she, like, before the raft was inflated, and then she inflated it and it fell down, and then the T-Rex was gone. I was like, this is, once again, we're building up to, like, this really intense moment. I was like, oh, this is really good. Even the music got like a little like intense there for a second, or like eerie, you know? And I was like, oh, this is exciting. And I will say it was an exciting scene. I will say I don't know how the T-Rex did not pop the raft, and I don't know why we couldn't have just saw it pop the raft. I don't know. I mean, T-Rex's teeth are very sharp. I mean, their teeth are so sharp that they can literally rip apart a human being. Like, if you were to go back to Jurassic Park Lost World, I mean, what's his name? Ian. Or no, not Ian. I'm not thinking of Ian. It was, what was the guy's name? Oh man, I'm forgetting the guy's name. That came to save them whenever the trailer was going off the cliff and the guy comes to save them, and then both T-Rexes like literally rip him apart. But that's how sharp their teeth are. So I was like, anyways. Another thing is I really miss the usage of animatronics. I know that Jurassic World, some of the Jurassic World films, I know they did use animatronics sparingly, I guess. I know they used different things. I know that there was even like humans that wore like a green screen outfit even, and then like a little head in certain scenes. But I miss like the full-on animatronics. Like, I feel like something that really stands out with the Jurassic Park films, especially if you go back to that first film with the T-Rex scene, of the car attack scene, of like when it comes out from the fence and attacks the cars, and with Lex and Tim, the animatronic just looks so good. And I know that there's CGI with it, I know that, but like, if you go back behind the scenes of how they made those animatronics, just, I mean, the amount of detail, the amount of work, the amount of effort and detail they put into those animatronics are just mind-blowing. I mean, it's just amazing. If you have checked out my sisters and I podcast, I'll put a link down below. We actually talked about Jurassic Park earlier this year, and that was something I had talked about, was the behind the scenes, because I love watching behind the scenes of things. And like, you know, they would make these, like, they made like a small, medium, and large model before they even got to the actual one they would be filming with. Of like each model, they actually did every little detail of what the T-Rex would look like, and it's just, you know, they worked on the texturization of like of the skin for it, and like just the amount of detail, like it just brought a realism to the dinosaurs once they were on set and once they're filmed in the movie. And I know that there's still CGI used, I get that, but the animatronics, I feel like, brought a realism to the films, and I feel like these films miss it when they just go straight up CGI. Like, this T-Rex scene was the scene that I feel like started bothering me the most in this film, because I love the T-Rex, and I was like, why couldn't they not have had animatronics? You know, I just don't understand. Like, there's just, I don't know. I would love to know your opinion. To me, I feel like animatronics bring a little bit of a realism to the dinosaurs, even when you have to use CGI. Because I know in Jurassic Park, like the kitchen scene, I know it swapped between the Velociraptors being animatronic to then being CGI. I know there is still like changes, but you know, why is it that the CGI even looked better back then? And that was some of the first major usages of CGI. Like, it was still like such a new breakthrough at the time when they did Jurassic Park with CGI. I just don't understand why some of this CGI just didn't look great to me. Like, especially at the end with the D-Rex, it just, I don't know. The D-Rex itself just looked like a freaky alien type monster. And maybe that's what they were going for. But I'm like, this is not a dinosaur. To me, it's not. Anyways, going back to the T-Rex scene. I don't know, I just wish, it was just hard. When I watched this scene, it just doesn't give me the same feel that I've seen when I've watched Jurassic Park and Lost World, Jurassic Park 3 even with the T-Rex. I feel like this film as a whole, like, I saw the potential with this film. Like, there are actually some pretty good scenes. Like, the water scenes, I really loved. And I thought it was interesting because I felt like this was the first film between Jurassic Park and even Jurassic World movies where we got a pretty good bit of water scenes. I mean, I know Jurassic Park 3 did have
I know they were on the little boat thing at one point, and I know the Spinosaurus attacks at night and stuff. So I know that there was some water scenes also in that. But I mean, I think this movie had more with the water usage in it, of them being in the water, on boats or whatever, the raft scene, even the little creek river crossing scene. And that was a really cool aspect that I liked, because I really thought the water scenes actually looked pretty decent. There's like a scene where the Mosasaurus is under, whenever the family had their boat flipped over, and you see like the Mosasaurus is under the water and you see its shadow. I was like, that actually looked really like cool, and I was like, wow, that's actually really good. And even like when the Mosasaurus was chasing the boy and it was like the jaws like feel, I was like, yes, there was really good moments. And the thing is like, I feel like this movie had potential, but I feel like they weren't willing to go the extra step to make it great, at least how I felt about it. Even if you didn't want someone to necessarily be killed in that moment, like, why was someone maybe not bitten? Like, there have been people bitten before and attacked before, but not necessarily die. You know, I mean, why was someone not maybe almost being dragged under? They're wearing book bags or the backpacks and stuff. Why did something not come out of the water and maybe try to drag them, and you're trying to see them trying to get this person out of the water? Where was the extra level of suspense? That's what I want to know. It just didn't hit for me. It just, like I said, it's just, you have these like great moments set up. Like I said, to me, this movie had the potential, like I said. And it's like, you have these great moments set up, but they didn't want to go the extra step to make it really good and really add on and build onto the suspense and everything. I mean, even the boy, when he went into the woods to go to the bathroom, you see the velociraptors come up behind him, and then all of a sudden the pterodactyl just comes in and swipes him away. And you're just like, then what was the point of the scene? Like, nothing really happens. Like, why was he not attacked? Like, we could have saw the velociraptor sneaking up behind him, maybe jump, screen cut, it goes to the family laying down, hearing him scream, and they're like, he's dead, like, oh my gosh, like, what the heck? And they've got to keep moving. It's just, it just felt like they just didn't want to go that extra step with making this movie great. Even at the end, like, they added in kind of like, I guess they wanted to give a little bit of a throwback, callback scene to the original Jurassic Park kitchen scene, except this was like more in a convenience store. And instead of velociraptors, I don't know, you have this velociraptor looking thing with wings, whatever. I don't know what they're doing with these hybrids. Which, I mean, it was fine, but it's like, nothing really happened. Like, I was like, what was the point of having this thing with wings if it wasn't even going to be used? Like, I mean, you could have had a cool setup of, like, where, like, how eerie the convenience store could have looked with the fact that it had its, like, lights on. And maybe, like, at first, maybe before they go into the convenience store or try to run in, of, like, the dinosaur itself, like, swooping down and pulling someone into the night sky. Almost like a Jeepers Creepers vibe, I guess. And then them, like, being like, well, we gotta run, like, type thing. Like, I don't know, them like, what the heck is that? And then maybe then it, like, flying back down, and then them being like, and then that's when they run into the convenience. Like, I needed a reason to be scared of this dinosaur, right? Like, not just the fact of, like, oh, it's a dinosaur. Like, give me a reason why this thing is so scary, I don't know. It's just, this movie just didn't have enough, like, it just didn't give enough of, like, the suspense, feel, thriller type, horror / vibes to it. Like, it just wasn't enough. I don't know. I just felt like every scene just started falling flat. Even the T-Rex scene, like, I expect the T-Rex to have a fight scene, whether the T-Rex eats someone or whether or not you wanted to make it more like how Jurassic World did it, of, like, where the T-Rex, like, at the end where it was the T-Rex and Donimus Rex and Blue fighting each other, and then Like, that was actually a cool dinosaur fight scene, which I know we also got the T-Rex and Spinosaurus fight scene in Jurassic Park 3. Which I know there was another one, I think, in Jurassic World Dominion, if I'm not mistaken. I know I didn't really like that film that much, so I don't remember the end too much, but I just kind of expected there to be a bigger scene with the T-Rex. I don't know if they were just like, oh, we don't want the T-Rex coming in and saving the day, but I'm like, the T-Rex is like a main character. Like, you got to see your reoccurring character come back, right? Like, that's what I want to see. And like, the T-Rex and Velociraptors are some of my favorite. I still love the Brachiosaurus. You know, it's been a long time since we saw a Triceratops. I know they tried to add the little, I guess, was it like a little baby Triceratops in this movie, which did not make sense to me, because she takes the little dinosaur off the island, and yet it was established at the beginning of the film that these dinosaurs can't even live above the equator. So unless she's living somewhere near the equator, I was like, girl, why are you taking this dinosaur off? Because at this point, the dinosaur is going to die. You just sentenced this dinosaur to its death. And it's not even that. I started thinking, and I was like, you know, the way they set this up, does that mean that Blue died? Because if Blue couldn't live also above the equator, you know, now, like I said, it really kind of makes me question everything that was set up in Jurassic World. Because I do like Blue. I like Blue. But now I'm kind of like, does that mean that Blue died? Like, unless we want to think, hey, maybe they transported Blue to this island. But would Blue really survive if Blue's more domesticated now? I don't know. Like, this is a good question. Like, I'm kind of sad to think that Blue might be dead. If all the dinosaurs were dying above the equator. Anyways. Okay, I am back. I did not get to finish filming. I think it was yesterday. I think I filmed yesterday, and I didn't get to finish filming. I have no idea why it's taking me so long to finish filming this video. I don't know. Anyways, I just need to get my thoughts done on this movie. It is late at night, so I have the light on in the room, so I don't know. I think I'm more used to the natural lighting during the day, so we're gonna see how this looks. But I just need to finish this video. Anyways, yeah, I think I was on the part. I think the last thing I talked about was, what did the T-Rex do in this film that we couldn't have seen any other dinosaur do? Like, why did we need a hybrid? Like, why can we not get a T-Rex? Why not any other dinosaur? Like, I mean, even having something that at least looks like more like a dinosaur. I know that in Jurassic Park to like then in the Jurassic World, like Dominion, I know like things have even been said of like dinosaurs like probably had like the fur, or like, I don't know if it's called fur, but like hair or whatever. Because then I know in Jurassic World Dominion they added some of that to the dinosaurs, and versus more the reptile look that we get in the regular Jurassic Parks, which, I mean, because I grew up on Jurassic Park, I'm kind of more used to the reptile look, you know. So I don't mind if they want to like kind of change up the dinosaurs looks a little bit, but like if it can still stay in the true fashion of what we're used to seeing in these movies. I feel like this movie had potential, but I feel like they weren't willing to take the extra step to like make it great. Like, there are so many scenes, and the way that certain scenes are set up in this film, that like they look really good, but there just wasn't enough suspense, and or like the thrill, or almost the horror, you know. I don't know how much I explained the last time I sat down to talk about this movie, so I might have to edit this, but there were scenes that just felt like, why were they in the movie? Like, they just kind of felt stupid. Like, there was a scene where, you know, after everything they went through with the Spinosauruses and the Mosasaurus and whatever the thing was in the river creek scene, you know, they're in the tall grass, and I mean, Henry is literally the scientist in this group, like the dinosaur guy, you know. He said he trained under Alan, and yet we hear him munching on chips, and I'm just like, you should be more quiet, not wanting to attract attention for any animal. I mean, they're in tall grass. We have had Velociraptors seen in the tall grass in The Lost World. I'm just saying, like, it's like it's like they almost didn't even like think they were in any danger. There was also like, even once they got on the shore, I know one of there was a girl in their group who does get snagged away by a Spinosaurus. And I was like, okay, pretty cool scene. It swaps to the family for a minute, but then it goes back to them, and they're just on the beach, just getting their stuff. Like, there was no hurry. They're having these conversations, and then it's just like, did y'all not just see this girl get eaten by a Spinosaurus? Like, there's no hurry. They're not trying to hurry up and get somewhere to higher ground or try to get away from the shore because the Spinos are around. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, there was no hurry. It just really felt like it's like, did these people not understand the danger they're in? And maybe it's because they lived around dinosaurs for so long. Like I said, I don't know how long this movie was gapped between the Dominion movie to this. I don't know if they said it at the beginning or not, how many years it had been. I might have to go back and see when I edit this video, but obviously it had been years at least since Dominion or the animals had been released in the world. So maybe these people are just so used to the dinosaurs that maybe they don't think they're in danger. I don't know. Maybe they do think it's just another walk in the park, you know? To me, there just wasn't enough of like, I just felt like these people never really felt like they were in much danger, you know? And yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, I just wanted more. It's like I just wanted more from this movie, and I just feel like this film lacked passion behind it. I don't know. I know it hasn't been that long since Jurassic World Dominion has been out, so I just don't know if they were just in a hurry to get another film out. Did they give themselves enough time to even film this movie and really take time to really work on those details? I feel like I'm kind of speechless in some of it, because it's like I just feel so disappointed. Like, I expected more, and it's hard because like I said before, I do see the potential this film could have had. And I don't know if I said it in one of my other parts, but I was like, man, if Steven Spielberg would have been a part of this film, it would have been better. But then when the credits started rolling and I saw him as executive producer, I was like, are you kidding me? He was a part of this, and this is what we got? Like, the guy who directed Jurassic Park, Jaws, E.T., like some of the most iconic films, which I'm kind of scared of E.T., but I know I did watch it when I was a little kid. It just freaked me out. But some iconic films, and I was like, this is what he's a part of this? I'm just shocked. I want more. I expected more. And if you like the film, that's cool. I didn't. I wanted more animal attack scenes. I'm not trying to say that I mean, not in like a bad way, but I feel like in a dinosaur film you expect there to be dinosaur attack scenes. You know, you gotta kill off some of the cast. You know, I wanted to see them actually feel like they were in danger. I wanted to see more of like, hey, we've got to get off this island. I wanted to see more of the suspense. I wanted it to be amped up a lot. I really wanted to see more. I really think that there could have been more done with this film, and I think it could have been great. I do. I was at least excited to be able to get a glimpse of the T-Rex. I just wasn't, once again, that didn't wow me, because I am more of a fan of seeing the animatronics, which I get animatronics still have some of the CGI, and I get that, but there's just something special about animatronics, and I don't feel like a lot of these dinosaurs have lived up to the ones we saw in Jurassic Park movies. And I wish we could get back to the way that the Jurassic Park movies felt. You know, I get that you might not always, I get that we probably will never feel the original feels of when we first saw Jurassic Park. I mean, which I still get wowed when I watch it, but I mean, as in like having remakes or like having new Jurassic World films, like I don't think you'll ever get back to that original feel of how Jurassic Park felt with these newer films. But I feel like there's still elements you could add to it. You know, like I said, like where's the suspense? Where's the suspense in this film / horror vibes? And why were people, like I said, why did we not see them like trying to be more hurried up type of thing versus them just chilling out on the shore, even though the girl just got ate by a Spino, jumping in the water even though Spinos are swimming around, standing in a river even though there could be an animal that could drag you under. Like, it was just things like that just didn't make sense to me. And I just didn't care for the film. You know, I hope we see something better in the future, and I hope I hope people will try to bring back these original like, I really want a good T-Rex scene. I get that maybe some people think the T-Rex is overused. I love the T-Rex. The T-Rex is one of my favorites, so I would love to see a T-Rex scene. I feel like it can be iconic. I mean, T-Rex is an iconic figure in these dinosaur films, to me anyways. So I want to see the T-Rex, and I would love to see a good Velociraptor scene, like really good one, not like give us something like we've gotten in the original Jurassic Parks. I really want to see the vicious, scary, like, Velociraptors. And you can add in some of the other dinosaurs that we grew up watching in some of the movies. Like I said, like where's the Compies, or even, like I said, you know, you can give us maybe Triceratops or Stegosaurus, some herbivores. You know, I don't know, just bring us, or even like the Spinosaurus. Like, you can even add in the Spinosaurus again. That's actually like a decent scene with it, kind of like how we saw it in Jurassic Park 3. You know, or even in Jurassic Park 3, there was like a red T-Rex looking dinosaur. Like, we didn't get to see much of it, but you know, you could add in some different varieties of these dinosaurs. And I just want to see, like we love dinosaurs. I love dinosaurs. That's why we watch the film. So Universal needs to get over the fact of being like, oh, people are tired of dinosaurs. We're not tired of dinosaurs. We want to see them. We just want to see good scenes. And I would love to see the animatronics being used. I do feel like the animatronics bring a realism to the movies. I actually would like to also see a film without kids. You know, I don't have nothing against kids, but they're not going to ever kill off a kid in a film. So, or at least in these films. So I just kind of would like to see something more just with adults, you know, because I think that would help with even watching it, of being like, they're going to be more willing to kill off characters if it's like a full cast of adults. And I'm not saying it has to be rated R, but I would love to see more of an adult film with just adults and forget the kids, so that we can, like I said, so they won't be so afraid to be like, oh, we have to make sure the kid doesn't get killed off, or its family, or whoever the kid is with, you know, they have to survive. Like, it'll bring a little bit more, I think, suspense of being like, oh, who will actually survive the island, or wherever we're at in the film. Yeah, I mean, I hope that there could be another film in the future. I'm sure they're going to film another Jurassic World one. I just hope it'll be better. I hope they'll add, I don't know, I hope they'll listen to people's critiques. I get that you can't please everyone. I just expect better. I do. I don't know. I don't know what else to say, though. I think I've basically covered everything. I don't know what I would rate this movie. Probably like a 4. Yeah. I was pretty disappointed with this film. I think I'd give it a 4. I mean, it was watchable enough, and at least there were some scenes I liked. I just expected more, and I hope that in the future we get more, and I hope they're not afraid to use the dinosaurs we're excited to see. I'm a fan that loves T-Rexes, and I want to see some Velociraptors, a good Velociraptor scene. Yep, I think that's it. I don't think I have anything else. I think I finally finished this video. I would love to know what your thoughts were on this movie. What do you think? What did you think? What were your overall opinions? And what do you think about, like, should they add animatronics back? Because I'm a huge fan of animatronics. What did you think about the whole idea of them you know, of the fact that now the dinosaurs are just really allowed to be at the equator versus, you know, how it was all built up in the original Jurassic worlds where they were technically spread out over the world for dominion, and now they're just back to one side. Now they've killed them off of the mainlands. Yeah, I guess, yeah. I mean, what did you think? What do you think about the D-Rex? Are you okay with the hybrids? Are you cool with still, do you like the idea of them still adding in hybrids and these new type of dinosaurs like the D-Rex is in? I guess, yeah, just let me know your thoughts. I think that's it. I'm trying to think about what I'm going to do for my next video. I'm not exactly for sure yet. It's either going to be Superman, because I'm really excited about talking about that movie, or I was thinking about maybe talking about a TV show that I've watched recently. So I'm thinking about it. So I haven't made my decision yet, but either way, I hope that you will come back to my channel and check out my next video. If you would like for me to talk about a certain movie or even react to a movie, let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you in my next video. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you if you have been subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much if you subscribed. If you like this video and you haven't subscribed, I would love if you would. And you can also give it a like, and yeah, I think that's it. Anyways, I will see you guys in the next video. For now, I hope you have a great week. Bye!